Oh, I just can't weigh this Middlesbrough side up. 2 games against Rotherham and 1 point, 2 games against Leicester. And you go and do the double over them, Lewis. Explain this club to me.
Well, I could explain it in 2 words, and that'd be typical Boro. It's been like that for years, to be honest. I mean, you'd say you couldn't make it up, but you absolutely could. I mean, there was a few people saying on Saturday it would just be like us to go to Leicester and win after we haven't beaten a single side in the bottom three yet. We lost to QPR, point like you say against Rotherham. It just sums us up completely.
Welcome back to the Borough View. In this episode, we are going to preview the Finnazaz derby as Plymouth visit the Borough this weekend. We'll talk about what went well against Leicester. We'll talk about OBrien as well, and we're also going to talk about season ticket prices and potentially a staged walkout. Let's get on to the Leicester game. First of all, then, all right, then, players. Any standout players for you, or was that just a solid defensive performance?
Yeah, I mean, I talked last week about, the game plan would be to sit back and try and hit them on the break. But the fear was we didn't necessarily have any pace on the break. But the way he played it, he put Sammy Silvera up top. Hasn't played much this season, but his pace on the break certainly worked effectively. He put a back five, played a diamond midfield. So the creative players like Azaz and McGree got plenty of space. We did ride our luck at times, which you have to against that Leicester side because they're such a good side. But yeah, really good defensive display. And going forward, it wasn't like we only had 2 chances. We had a good 5 or 6 chances on the break. So, Carrick, who's over my shoulder here, he played an absolute blinder. After getting criticised only last week for the lineup against Bristol City, he got his tactics spot on this week.
Yeah, well done, Michael Carrick. He's not a bad manager, isn't he? But even the best managers get it wrong, which certainly did at Bristol. What about OBrien then? Because again, I read lots of reports he did incredibly well, and actually, there's lots of clamour I understand on the terraces at the Riverside for him to just play there the rest of the season. Now, would you agree or not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got dealt a hammer blow before with the absence of Hackney and Howson, who could be out some time. O'Brien's had his injuries himself this season, but he's back fit now, and I think people forget a couple of years ago he's arguably the best midfielder in the league. Huddersfield's Player of the Year, and yeah, he's such a cultured footballer. So nice on the ball, he carries the ball so well. And on the break, it was him that, set the first goal up. He nearly set a second goal up. I think if he can keep fit to the end of the season, he's going to be a key player for us now. I'd love us to sign him in the summer because, Hackney looks like he'll be going in the summer. O'Brien will be the ideal replacement if we can get him in because I can't see him staying at Forest. So I'd love to get him in permanently. He's a brilliant footballer.
Okay. Before we bring in our Plymouth fans, Middlesbrough have announced season ticket prices last week, and it hasn't gone down well at all. And different factions of the Red faction are putting out a staged potential walkout during the Plymouth game in protest at the prices going up. Just walk us through, obviously, neutral, what's happened there and what you believe should have happened. Clearly, there's a PR disaster.
It is, yeah. I mean, it didn't come out at the right time after that Bristol City game when we've just had a really, really worrying defeat, and then they bring that news out. I mean, the first PR disaster was the fact that it was sort of the middle of March that we had to make this payment by, so it's given fans like one payday. After consultation, they've moved it to the end of March, so it gives fans 2 paydays. It's not really about the fact it's gone up £30 in the grand scheme of things. That's not a hell of a lot of money, but it's £90 over 3 years. And it's the fact that I believe we're the 4th most expensive in the league. So it's not really a case of why has it gone up, because everybody knows everything's going up at the moment. It was more the case at the starting point. Why are our ticket prices so extortionate compared to the rest of the league? And it's something we've really never had an answer on.
But do you support fan action of walking out of a game against an away side who are going to travel in their numbers, who aren't fantastic away from home themselves? Are you going to walk out?
I won't be myself. I completely, anybody that wants to do that, that's down to their discretion. And I understand people are going to say that if we just sit there, no action's going to be taken. So, the people that do want to walk out, that's their choice. Some people will argue, is it detrimental to the team on the pitch? I can imagine there's going to be a bit of a rally towards like an us versus them. The people that stay will try and create an atmosphere to say, look, we're still behind the team, we're still behind this club. So whether it has much of an effect at all, there might be some empty seats, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be a silent empty stadium.
Okay.
But I appreciate, if nothing's done about it, then, the prices aren't going to change at all, and they can keep increasing it year after year.
Yeah, it's not good, is it? Because it's the fan who it's the fan who gets hurt, and you could argue that with TV deals at the moment and sponsorship, that actually season tickets for some clubs could come down in prices. But yeah, all right. Thanks for sharing that. Let's bring in our Plymouth fan, Jaden. Then, good evening, Jaden. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, all right. 2 weeks ago, you were off on your 8-hour journey to Sunderland, and here we are 2 weeks later. Then you're back up. You're back up to Middlesbrough. This fixture computer's been a bit hellish for you this month, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's not nice at all. But I think I saw a post from a Leeds fan saying they had it tough. And I think we did 1,000 more miles than them this month. It's crazy, really.
But looking forward to seeing Finnezaz again, yeah?
Yeah, well, I think he's on fantastic form, and it's nice to see. So, yeah, it's nice to see him. I personally loved him as a player down here in Plymouth, and it was only a loan. So what can you expect?
Okay. All right, then. And this is a bit of a mid-table battle at the moment with neither side heading down. But do Middlesbrough still have aspirations after that result last weekend that potentially you could throw yourself into this playoff mix?
Yeah, I think the saying is, a week's a long time in football. Last Saturday we were thinking, well, we needed to get a result at Preston or the season's almost over. We didn't get a result at Preston because we had Leicester next. We're thinking, well, that's going to look like 10 points off the playoffs. We managed somehow to get a result at Leicester, and now you're thinking it's 7 points. We've got a game in hand. You win that, it's 4 points. Suddenly you start having a bit of belief again. Everybody knows as a football fan, it's the hope that kills you. But you are looking at our fixtures thinking there's some winnable games coming up. So we're certainly still in with a squeak. It's a long shot at the moment, and there's still many teams between us and sixth, but we're not out of it anyway, which we might have been on Saturday.
Okay. It was a bonfire weekend, Jaden, when Middlesbrough visited Home Park, and there was some fireworks in that game. It was 3-3, if I recall, in that game. What did you make of Middlesbrough then, and what are your hopes for this weekend?
Yeah, that was a fantastic game of football. Probably one of the best we've seen this season at Home Park in terms of how close it was. So, yeah, it's quite an exciting fixture to play them again. But I can't see us winning on the form they're on. Yeah,
and it was Coburn, Lewis, who got a rebound off a penalty, wasn't it? And another as well. And let's get some score predictions from you both then. Lewis, you can go first.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I think if you asked anybody that's a non-Middlesbrough fan would say, well, they've just beaten Leicester. Surely they're going to beat Plymouth. But then if you ask anybody that is a Middlesbrough fan, they'll say, we've just beat Leicester. We probably won't beat Plymouth. I mean, they've got one away win all season in 16 games. And, you never know which Middlesbrough's going to turn up. But, we should have some confidence after that Leicester game. So judged on that and judged on Plymouth's away form, I'm going to say a 2-0 home win, and it is needed. So fingers crossed the right Middlesbrough turn up.
All right. Jaden.
I'll go 1-1, Whittaker and Azaz to score.
Oh, brilliant. Nice one. Well, listen, enjoy the game. Jaden, again, big credit to you and all the 2,000-odd Green Army that we back up to the north. This is probably the last big journey, I think, isn't it? So we haven't got any more big ones after this. I think so. All right. Well, enjoy the game, both of you, and we'll catch you both next week. Cheers, Lewis. Cheers, Jaden. And if you're a Boro fan, hasn't yet subscribed, please do so, because I think it's going to get really interesting for Boro in this next 12 weeks. Let's hope so. Anyway, all right. Cheers, fellas.